Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're taking a trip down memory lane with instant cameras.
Ah, instant cameras. I have so many fond memories.
Me too. But you know those old school instant cameras? Kind of bulky and unpredictable, right?
Hmm.
Well, what if I told you they've had a major glow up?
Oh, a glow up. Tell me more.
Yeah. Think sleek designs, cool new features, and get this, some even let you print right from your phone.
Wow, print from your phone? Now that's something I gotta see.
Right. So today we're going to unpack why instant cameras are back in a big way, what's different now, and which models are really making a splash.
This is gonna be fun.
I know, right? All right, so first things first. Instant cameras. They've come a long way, haven't they?
They really have. Remember those early instant cameras? You never knew quite what you were gonna get, did you?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes blurry, sometimes surprisingly good. You just cross your fingers and hope for the best.
Exactly. But today, it's a different story. Like, take the Fujifilm Instax Mini Lip Play. This little beauty actually lets you preview your shot before you print.
Whoa, 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 back up a sec. You mean no more wasted film on those accidental blurry shots?
You got it. No more mystery reveals. And some of these new cameras, you can even print photos right from your phone.
Okay, that's kind of blowing my mind, my digital photos,
Yeah.
but with that classic instant look.
Exactly. Imagine slapping that iconic Fujifilm filter on your phone pics. Talked about nostalgia overload.
I'm already sold. But let's talk cameras. Which ones are the real stars of the instant camera world?
Well, we did a little digging, scouring the internet, places like Reddit, Quora, even checking out Amazon reviews and sales data.
Research, love it.
Had to be thorough. And one name kept popping up, Fujifilm Instax. They're really dominating the instant camera scene right now.
Instax, I've heard that name before, but aren't there like a bunch of different Instax models? How do you even choose?
Ah, that's where the fun begins. Each Instax model has its own personality, its own strengths. Let's start with a great one for beginners, the Fujifilm Instax Mini 12. Super lightweight, stylish design, and get this, 5 amazing colors.
Okay, I am all about stylish. Spill the tea on these colors.
Okay, are you ready? We've got ceramic white, a classic. Then there's mint green. Oh, so refreshing. And for a pop of color, sky blue and lilac purple. But wait, there's one more.
Drumroll, please.
Blush pink.
Blush pink. That's calling my name. But besides its undeniable cuteness, what makes this Mini 12 good for beginners?
Well, it's all about ease of use. It's got a dedicated selfie mode, and for those close-ups, a close-up shot mode. Plus, the flash is automatic, so you don't have to worry about those blown-out photos.
Wow, sounds pretty foolproof.
Pretty much, and it even comes with a matching case. How cute is that?
Okay, that's pretty tempting. But what about for someone who, wants a little more oomph, a few more bells and whistles?
Then you might fall head over heels for the Fujifilm Instax Mini Live Play.
Ooh, the lip play. Tell me more.
This one's got more features like that preview before you print thing we talked about. Plus, it's got a whole bunch of fun Fujifilm filters and creative frames you can play around with.
Fancy.
Dir-
Anything else?
You can print directly from your phone. Perfect for turning your digital memories into instant keepsakes. And the color options. So chic. Elegant black, stone white, blush gold, and champagne gold.
I'm feeling that elegant black. But
Oh.
you mentioned a voice message feature earlier, right? What's that all about?
It's so innovative. You record a voice message, and the camera turns it into a QR code that gets printed right on the photo.
No way. So anyone who gets the photo can just scan the code and hear the message.
That's it. Imagine the possibilities, birthday cards, love notes, secret messages.
Okay, that's next level. I love it.
Yeah.
But let's be real. Some of us are on a budget, right? What about something a little more wallet-friendly?
Well, in that case, the Kodak Printomatic might be right up your alley.
Kodak, a classic name in photography. What makes this one stand out?
It keeps things simple. Point, shoot, and print. It's a no-fuss, no-frills instant camera that's perfect for those who just want to capture the moment without breaking the bank.
So, back to basics, but with that instant camera magic.
Precisely. And another bonus. No messy ink cartridges to deal with.
Sounds pretty convenient. But hold on a sec. Before we get too carried away, let's talk about film. Can you just use any old film with these cameras?
Ah, good question. Instant cameras are a bit picky when it comes to film. Each model needs its own specific type.
So you got to make sure you're grabbing the right film for your camera.
Exactly. Like the Instax Mini series uses Instax Mini film, super easy to find, and the perfect size for wallets and mini photo albums.
So no need to lug around bulky film packs.
Nope, it's nice and compact. But now for the big question. Why are instant cameras suddenly so popular again? What's driving this retro revival?
I have a confession. I actually have some old instant photos from my childhood tucked away in a box somewhere, and every time I stumble across them, it's like this little time capsule of memories just opens up. But is it just nostalgia, or is there something more?
Nostalgia is definitely part of the appeal. It's that warm, fuzzy feeling of reliving those special moments. But I think there's more to it than that. There's something special about holding a physical photograph, don't you think? It's not just an image on a screen, it's a tangible memory you can actually touch and feel.
You know, you're absolutely right. It's like holding a little piece of that moment in your hands.
Exactly. And I think that's a huge part of the appeal. It's the instant gratification of seeing your picture right away and being able to share that physical photo with someone.
Like imagine you're at a party or on vacation. You can create a memory right there on the spot, and everyone can enjoy it.
Exactly. There's something magical about passing a freshly printed photo around, reliving that moment together. But is it all just about chasing that old school Polaroid vibe? I don't think so.
I'm listening.
Think about it. The colors, the textures, that iconic border, they all come together to create a unique aesthetic that digital photos just can't replicate.
It's like they have their own built-in filter that no app can truly imitate.
You nailed it. And let's not forget how easy they are to use. Most instant cameras are incredibly intuitive. You don't need to be a tech whiz to take a great picture.
You know, I love that. You don't have to be intimidated by all those complicated camera settings. Just point, shoot, and enjoy.
Precisely. Speaking of enjoying, there's something else really cool about instant cameras. They present a unique creative challenge.
Oh, how so?
Well, because you have a limited number of shots on each film pack, you're forced to slow down and be a bit more thoughtful about what you choose to photograph.
It's like each photo becomes more intentional,
Yeah.
right? You really savor the moment.
Exactly. It encourages you to experiment, to play with different angles and compositions. And here's another cool thing.
Hit me with it.
Instant photos are amazing for all sorts of DIY projects.
DIY, oh, I love a good DIY project. Like what?
Think scrapbooking, journaling, personalized gifts. I mean, the possibilities are endless.
It's like taking those little squares of instant film and turning them into something even more special, something personal.
Exactly. It's about injecting a bit of creativity and personality into everything you do. And for those who are all about that tech-free life,
Oh, tell me more.
there are instant camera models that don't require any connection to smartphones or computers. It's just you, the camera, and the moment.
Talk about a digital detox. Okay, so we've got the basics down, but now let's get into how to actually have fun with these cameras, because I have a feeling there's a whole world of creative possibilities out there just waiting to be explored.
One thing I've been seeing a lot lately is people using instant photos for personalized gifts.
Oh, personalized gifts. Tell me more.
Yeah. Think about it, like custom photo albums or framed collages. You could even use them to make like one-of-a-kind greeting cards.
It's like bringing back that personal touch to gift giving. You know, something handmade and from the heart.
Exactly. And those instant photos, they have that retro vibe. They add a unique touch to any project.
Speaking of retro, I've seen people using instant photos for home decor too. Like creating gallery walls with strings of photos or using them as accents in scrapbooks and journals.
I've even seen them on fridge magnets.
Right. It's a great way to bring in some personality and a touch of nostalgia.
And you know what else?
What?
I've heard of people using instant cameras as a tool for self-discovery and mindfulness.
Us. Mindfulness and instant cameras.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have put those two together.
I know, right? But think about it. You only have a limited number of shots on each film pack. So each photo becomes more intentional, more meaningful.
You can't just snap away without thinking.
Exactly. You have to slow down, be present in the moment, really consider what you want to capture.
I can see how that would be almost meditative.
Exactly. It's about being present, being mindful. And for those who are more, artistically inclined,
Yeah,
instant cameras offer a world of creative possibilities.
I bet. What are some of the cool things people are doing? Spill the beans.
People are experimenting with double exposures and mixed media. Some even incorporate instant photos into larger art pieces.
Oh, wow. It's like blending photography and mixed media art.
Exactly. It's amazing how the limitations of the format can actually become a source of inspiration.
Pushing people to think outside the box.
Precisely. It's a testament to the enduring power of instant photography, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Okay, but before we go any further, I think we need to rewind a bit. I mean, we've touched on some of the technical stuff, but for anyone feeling a little lost, maybe we should go back to basics. Break it down, step by step.
A refresher course. Sounds good to me.
Okay, so how do you use an instant camera? For real, from start to finish.
All right, first things first, gotta make sure you have the right film for your camera. Each camera is designed for a specific type.
Okay, so got my film. What's next?
Well, most instant cameras are super user-friendly. Typically, you just turn it on, frame your shot using the viewfinder, and press the shutter button. Simple as that.
Easy peasy. But what about focusing? Do you need to adjust anything?
Some instant cameras have automatic focus, while others might have a simple focus switch, to toggle between close-ups and those further away.
Got it. So the photo's been taken. What happens next?
That's when the magic happens. The camera ejects the photo, and then get this, you actually watch the image develop right before your eyes.
It's like a tiny dark room right there in your hands.
Yeah.
But I've heard you have to be careful about exposing the photo to light while it's developing.
That's a good point. Some film types can be sensitive to light, so it's best to shield it from direct sunlight or bright lights until it's fully developed, just to be on the safe side.
Good tip. Okay, now let's get real. We've all been there. Blurry photos, overexposed shots, the occasional finger photobombing the frame.
Yeah.
What are some common mistakes people make with instant cameras? And more importantly, how can we avoid them?
Oh, those instant camera blunders, they happen to the best of us. But with a little practice and attention to detail, you can minimize those mishaps for sure.
So spill the tea. Number one tip for avoiding blurry photos.
It all comes down to stability. Holding that camera steady is key, especially in low-light situations. Use both hands if you need to. Maybe even find something to lean against, for extra support.
Solid advice. But what about when you're trying to capture, like, something in motion? Like a rambunctious pet or some energetic kids. Any tips for freezing the action?
Absolutely. If you're shooting in good lighting, try using a faster shutter speed.
That makes sense. But how do you adjust shutter speed on an instant camera? Most of them don't have a lot of manual controls, do they?
You're right. Most instant cameras rely on automatic settings. But some models, like the Fujifilm Instax Mini 90 Neo Classic, do offer some control over shutter speed.
Oh, fancy. Okay, so what's the secret to snagging those action shots with cameras that don't have manual controls?
It's all about anticipation.
Yeah.
Try to predict where the action is going to happen and pre-focus on that spot.
So a little bit of mind reading.
You could say that. And if you're shooting a moving subject, try panning. Following their movement with the camera as you press the shutter button. It can create a cool sense of motion while keeping your subject in focus.
Panning. Okay, I'm going to try that. Now
Yeah.
let's talk exposure. How do you avoid those photos that are either way too bright or way too dark?
Most instant cameras have automatic exposure settings, meaning they adjust things like aperture and shutter speed based on the lighting conditions.
So the camera's doing the heavy lifting. But what about when those automatic settings just aren't quite right? Like if you're shooting against a really bright background and your subject ends up looking like a shadow.
Good point. Sometimes those automatic settings need a little help. That's where exposure compensation comes in handy.
Exposure compensation, so like manually adjusting the exposure.
You got it. Some instant cameras, like the Fujifilm Instax Mini 11, have a light and darken control that lets you tweak the exposure. It's like giving the camera a gentle nudge in the right direction.
So if you're shooting with a bright background, you can lighten up the exposure to make sure your subject pops.
Exactly. And conversely, if you're in a dimly lit spot, you can darken the exposure to prevent that washed out look.
Makes sense. Okay, now for another common instant camera fail. How do you avoid getting your finger in the shot? That classic finger photobomb.
Simple. Be mindful of your grip. Pay attention to where you're placing your fingers on the camera.
I know, but sometimes you're just so caught up in the moment, especially when you're trying to work all those buttons.
True. That's why it's good to familiarize yourself with the camera layout before you start snapping away. Know where everything is so you can avoid any accidental finger cameos.
Good tip. Okay, last question about those instant camera mishaps. What about when you accidentally chop off someone's head or feet in the frame? Those unfortunate cropping mistakes.
Ah, yes, the dreaded cropping error. My best advice, always double check your viewfinder. It's there to help you frame your shot and make sure everyone fits in the picture before you press the button.
Right, the viewfinder.
Yeah.
My new best friend. Okay, now for the elephant in the room. What happens if you take a photo and you absolutely hate it? Is there any way to, salvage an instant camera fail?
That's the thing about instant photography, Once that photo is printed, there's no going back. What you see is what you get.
So instant camera fails, they just become permanent reminders.
Ouch. Not necessarily. You can't change the photo itself, but why not embrace the imperfections and turn those mishaps into something fun?
Okay, I like where this is going. What do you have in mind?
You could make a blooper reel photo album, or use those less than perfect shots to decorate a photo wall. Or even get crafty and use them as the starting point for a mixed media art project.
Turning lemons into lemonade. I love it. So we've covered a lot here. Using an instant camera, troubleshooting those common mistakes. But I want to circle back to why instant cameras are having this resurgence. Why is this seemingly old-school technology captivating so many people all over again?
It is a good question, isn't it? You know, in this digital age, we're constantly bombarded with images on our phones. I think there's something really refreshing about the tangible, instant nature of these cameras. It's like a breath of fresh air.
It's like giving our eyes a break from all the digital noise.
Exactly. Instant cameras force us to slow down, be more present when we're actually taking photos, and to find beauty in, well, the imperfections.
It's a good reminder that not every photo needs to be perfectly posed or filtered. It's more about capturing those real, authentic moments as they are.
You nailed it. And don't forget that incredible feeling of watching an image develop right in front of you. It's magic.
It is. You hold that photo in your hand. It's like, whoa, I created this unique, tangible thing.
And that feeling of wonder and discovery, I think that's something that transcends generations.
Yeah. You know, I've seen it myself. Instant cameras have this power to bring people together no matter their age.
It really is remarkable. It's a testament to the power of these cameras to connect us, remind us to be present, and share those little moments with one another.
Well said. You know, we've talked about how fun and easy instant cameras are. But I want to step back and look at the bigger picture. How has instant photography affected our relationship with images, with memories, with how we see and remember the world around us?
That's a great question, and I think instant photography has played a vital role in making photography accessible to everyone.
Accessible, what do you mean?
I mean, before instant cameras, photography was often seen as this, specialized skill that required expensive equipment and knowledge of those darkroom techniques.
So it was more exclusive back then.
Exactly. It was mostly limited to those who, had the money and the expertise. But instant cameras, they changed the game. Suddenly, photography was affordable, portable, easy to use.
So it became something everyone could enjoy, regardless of their skill level.
Exactly. And that had a huge impact on our visual culture as a whole.
I'm all ears. Tell me more.
It led to this explosion of personal photography. People started documenting their lives, their families, their communities in a way that was never really possible before. It was like a visual revolution.
I can imagine. It's like everyone was given a voice, a visual voice to tell their stories.
Precisely. It was a game changer. And it also changed the way we think about and preserve memories, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, before instant cameras, how did people even capture those everyday moments?
Well, memories were mostly preserved through stories, written accounts, or those formal portraits, the ones taken by professional photographers. It was a much more curated, selective approach to preserving the past.
Right. It wasn't like you could just whip out a camera and snap a pic of your lunch.
Exactly. Instant cameras brought spontaneity into the picture. People were free to capture those everyday moments, the laughter, the silly faces, those quiet moments of connection, the kind of moments that might have otherwise been forgotten.
It's like instant cameras allowed people to create a visual diary of their lives, a collection of those little fleeting moments that make up a life.
Exactly. Those instant photos became tangible reminders of the past, wouldn't you say? They spark conversations, bring back emotions, and connect generations through shared experiences.
It's beautiful, really. It's like those photos are threads weaving together the fabric of a life.
Beautifully put. And you know what? It's not just about personal moments. Instant photography has also played a role in social movements and cultural change.
Really? Wow, I never would have thought of that. Tell me more.
Think about it. Instant cameras have been used to document protests, rallies, other movements for social justice. They've provided this powerful, immediate visual record of those events.
It's like a visual testament to the struggles and triumphs of these movements.
Precisely. It underscores that instant photography isn't just about capturing pretty pictures. It's about documenting history, sharing stories, promoting understanding across cultures.
It's like holding up a mirror to society and sparking conversations.
Exactly. It shows the power of images to connect us, inspire us, and challenge how we see the world.
I've learned so much today. We've covered everything from the technical details to the cultural impact of instant photography. But before we wrap up, I'd love to hear more about the personal side of all of this. What is it about those instant photos that evoke such strong emotions? Why do they trigger such a wave of nostalgia?
It's funny, when I think about those old instant photos, those ones tucked away in that box, it's not just the pictures themselves that bring back those memories, it's the whole experience, like watching the photo slowly appear, holding that photo in my hand, showing it to my family. It's just different. Different from looking at a photo on my phone.
I totally get that. It's about slowing down, savoring those moments, creating something real, something you can hold, something that connects you to that memory. It's like a reminder that sometimes, the simplest things are the most meaningful. But, and maybe this is just me, part of me wonders if instant cameras can really compete with our smartphones. I mean, come on, smartphones can do so much. You've got different lenses, editing apps, instant sharing. How can these little instant cameras keep up?
Oh, I hear ya. Smartphones, they're definitely versatile, super convenient. But instant cameras, they have something smartphones just can't replicate, that tangible, instant gratification of holding a physical print.
It's like reading a physical book versus reading on a Kindle,
Yeah.
right? So something about holding that book in your hands.
You got it. It's that tactile experience, the texture, even the smell of the photo paper. It engages our senses in a way digital photography can't quite match.
It's like this mini rebellion against the digital world, a way to like unplug and reconnect with the simple things.
I like that. A mini rebellion. Instant cameras, they offer this way to be more present, to slow down and create something tangible that you can hold and share.
It's a reminder that sometimes the simplest technologies are the most meaningful. But instant cameras, they're not just simple, are they? I mean, they have their own creative limitations. Like, you only have so many shots.
That's right. The limited number of shots, no fancy editing options. Those limitations, though, they force you to think differently about your photography. You have to really plan your shots and make each one count.
It's like a game, a challenge to see what you can create within those boundaries.
Exactly. And often it leads to some seriously creative results. Those constraints can actually make you more resourceful, make you think outside the box.
So limitations can sometimes be a good thing.
Absolutely. They can push you to be more innovative, more mindful.
I like that. Mindful photography. Okay,
Yeah.
but let's be real for a second. Are there downsides to instant cameras? Like, when would you say, you know what, a smartphone is just the better choice?
Of course, instant cameras aren't perfect for every situation. If you need super high resolution images, zoom lenses, tons of editing options, well then yeah, a smartphone is probably the way to go.
It's about choosing the right tool for the job.
Right.
Instant cameras, they're all about simplicity, immediacy, capturing those feelings.
Exactly. And something else to keep in mind, the film. It can be a bit pricey.
Yeah, that's true. The cost of film can add up.
It's definitely a factor to consider, but I think it's important to weigh that cost against the value you get from those photos. They're not just pictures, they're memories, conversation starters, little works of art.
It's an investment, not just in film, but in experiences, in relationships.
Beautifully said.
Okay, so we've talked about all the good stuff and, we've touched on some of the downsides. But is instant photography just a trend? Is this a fad that's going to fade away? Or is there something more lasting here?
I truly believe it's more than just a passing trend. It's a cultural phenomenon that's been around for decades and continues to evolve.
So more than just a nostalgic throwback.
Oh, absolutely. While those instant cameras tap into that nostalgia, they also offer something unique and valuable in our increasingly digital world.
Like what sets them apart in this world of, filters and perfectly curated online lives?
They offer a tangible, immediate connection to the moment. They encourage us to slow down, to be mindful. They let us create something real, something we can hold on to, something we can share.
It's like pushing back against the constant digital noise, isn't it?
You could say that.
It
It's about reclaiming those real-world experiences and appreciating the tangible.
So instant cameras, they're not just about taking pictures, they're about making a statement.
Exactly. It's a way of saying, hey, I was here, this moment mattered. And it's a way of sharing that moment with others in a real, tangible way.
I love that. Okay, so you mentioned evolving. What do you see for the future of instant photography? What
Right.
cool new developments are on the horizon?
Well, we're already seeing cameras with Bluetooth connectivity so you can print directly from your smartphone.
Mhm.
And film manufacturers, they're constantly innovating. Black and white film, sepia tones, even holographic effects.
Holographic film, that sounds amazing. What will they think of next?
I know, right? It's an exciting time for instant photography. This blend of tradition and innovation, it's a beautiful thing.
This has been such a fascinating conversation. We've covered a lot of ground today. But before we say goodbye, what would you say is the one thing, the essence of instant photography? What keeps people coming back for more?
For me, it's the magic. It's the magic of freezing a moment in time, those genuine smiles, those candid moments of joy. It's about turning those fleeting moments into something tangible, something you can hold in your hand.
It's like creating a tiny portal back to that exact moment, isn't it? And it's not just the photo itself, it's that whole experience.
Exactly. When you hold that instant photo, you're not just looking at an image, you're reliving a memory. And that, I think, is what makes instant photography so special. It's about celebrating life, connection, and those everyday moments that make life extraordinary.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Well, folks, that's a wrap for our deep dive into the wonderful world of instant cameras. Until next time, happy snapping.
Yeah.